Guys, and welcome to a new video. My name is Chelsea Autumn, and today we will be working on a tutorial for the new Nikkietutorials and Beauty Bay palette collaboration. We're gonna just start off with a little bit of primer here. Doesn't matter what kind you use. I use Louise. It's all based on personal preference. You can also use concealer. We're going to go in with the yellow shade. So the color names are going to be here in the bottom left hand corner for you. This canary yellow is quite bright, much brighter than anticipated, as you can clearly see from my facial expressions. And we're just going to start patting that out a little bit with like a flat brush. This brush is a little fluffier than just a regular flat brush, so I can use that to diffuse the edge a little bit. You can also just use a fluffy brush for diffusion after you've patted on the color. Because these are pressed pigments, it's highly recommended that you pat them on. And then we're gonna go in here with the seafoam green color named You, and we're going right in the crease there. We're just gonna pat that on and then diffuse. And we're gonna try and blend that into the yellow color a little bit. And then once we're happy with the color there, we're going to pat out any creases that you might have had from your concealer. And we're going to also go in with Amsterdam, which is like a cobalt blue color on the outer V. And we're going to sort of smudge that into the crease as well. And we're going to also be winging this out a little bit towards the tail of the brow for a more dramatic shape. Again, we're doing the pat and the diffuse sort of method. And there's my kitty, Lilith. And we're just going to be patting this on and blending it out as we go until we're happy with the look. And we're going back in with a little bit of the seafoam green color to sort of bring back what we might have lost when we blended it out a little. I'm really aiming for this look to be pretty bright and colorful. Now we're going in with the Slasher color, which is like a deep plum burgundy kind of color. I am kind of disappointed this palette doesn't have more deep dark shades to give more depth there, but you can sort of create that by layering some shades on top of each other. My only issue with that when you're using pressed pigments though is that the more powder that you lay on top will get a little patchy. Keep that in mind. It's not a formula issue so much as it's the kind of product that it is. We're diffusing again, and we're going to go back in with that green. Now we're going in with like a nude shade so that we can blend out any harsh edges that might be towards the edge of the look. We're going back in with our primer again because we're going to do a partial cut crease. My favorite way of doing a cut crease is to put it on along my lash line, put a little bit of concealer or primer along my lash line, and then look up and it'll automatically kind of create that line for you. And then you just fill in the rest. Now you're just going to kind of pat that out a little bit to sort of blend it some more with the shadow that you already have on. going to take a little bit of Amsterdam and also blend that so that we have a more seamless transition. We're also taking more of Slasher as well. We're using our MAC powder in Shivering White to sort of brighten up the inner corner there. It's just a matte white powder. And then we're using our sponge tip applicator to apply our shimmers. I personally prefer this versus like using a finger or a brush, but it matters the kind of texture of the sponge tip brush. So you want it to have a texture similar to a beauty blender. We're using Ivy here on the inner corner, which is just the shimmery white in the palette, which is pretty, but I wasn't super, like for the inner corner highlight, I wasn't super blown away by it. Now we are taking All In, which is a beautiful duochrome. It's kind of like a champagne green peach. It's hard to describe it, honestly. It's beautiful though. Absolute favorite shimmer out of this palette. I mean, all the shimmers are mind-blowing, but this one in particular, great. There was a little bit of glitter fallout with those, so just bear that in mind. And then we also have Nikkietutorials so that we can have a little bit more of a transition, since that previous shade was more of the warm tone, and we want something that's going to blend more with the cooler tones that I have on the outer V. And then we're going back in with Amsterdam again, and Slasher as well. Don't mind all my squinting in this video, by the way. I usually wear glasses or contacts, and I'm blind. I think we're taking Ivy up under the brow again for a little bit of highlight. And we're starting on the lower lash line with Slasher and a small fluffy brush. We're just going to really pack that on with a short flat brush. Diffusing it with the nude shadow again, or a clean brush. And we're going in with Pride, which I did wet, by the way, and a pencil brush to the inner corner of the waterline. And then we're using a highlighter because, again, I wasn't super crazy about Ivy, and so I wanted something that had a little bit more color to it. So I used Emerald from the Alchemist Calligraphy palette. Then we are going in with the waterline here with a turquoise gel liner. You can use any brand. I think this one's NYX from their Pride line. Can't quite remember the name, but all names of products will be listed in the description box below. And here we have our finished look. I tossed on a dark purple, like very vampy lip and some lashes and liner, and we have our fully complete look here that was intentionally styled to match the wig that I'm wearing. The shimmers again in this palette, mind-blowing. I did have a little bit of patchiness issues just because I was layering so much of Amsterdam and Slasher on the outer corner, but that's more me and my technique than it is an issue of the product. But I quite like this palette. You can recreate this look using similar shades. You don't necessarily have to have this palette, and being that, you know, Halloween's just around the corner, you can add a couple of accessories to this and have a full-on peacock look if you are looking to dress up. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video and joining me, and if you do enjoy my work, please feel free to comment and like and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more.